Good evening, everybody. As ever, we have technical difficulties, and that's what we love here in JACKOCAR. But never mind. You'll be pleased to hear I have saved you all for the evening. There is no Owen Wyatt, so you have the soothing tones of my voice, and I'll be hopefully and shortly backed up by Matt Lester. It is, of course, myself, the Fiora of JACKOCAR, Mr. Jacko. And once I finally settle myself, I'll be able to run through qualifying. Dustin Rolko, he invalidated his lap. You've just seen Michael Okeke go to pole. So we will move to Robin Border, who is out of qualifying, which means we can go to Florian Meyer, who is here. And you'll have to bear with me, because I'm all over the place. I don't even know if the sound's working, but we'll pretend it is. So, what you need to know about tonight, the stage points come at lap 10 and 22. One joker in the form of Ben Shaw. And round 15, it is the third of 3 races in the round of 10. Which means that Gareth Hall will be on his way out this evening. Who knows? Of course, here we see Florian in the baseball section, one of the harder bits of the JACKOCAR calendar, but he gets out of there cleanly and will come round to set a new benchmark of 15.2. Leroy Haslager is next. He's had a miserable season, has Leroy. Let me reel off the stats for you. 12 starts, 37 points, and only 2 of those inside the top 10. A best finish of P6, and that is all really he's had to show for it as he once again enters this baseball section. He's a bit like me. He can't wait for the season to end, and then he can go on a long holiday. And of course, sadly for Leroy, once again displaying the wrong flag of his home nation. Who knew he was from Luxembourg, as he goes P2. We'll move on to Ben Harrett, who is all the way down here in 14th. He's asked me to try and get some Hot Fuzz references in tonight, just for the sake of it. Why not? Of course, we were in a party chat with him shortly before this stream started. Once again, sorry for the delay. So that's where the Hot Fuzz stuff comes from. But Ben Harrett, a bit like Leroy, just waiting and waiting for the season to end. However, Ben Harrett, like many others, is hoping that there's going to be a 12th season, but I'm not too sure about that. I personally would quite enjoy the holiday. I do believe Ben Harrett is the last of the pad drivers that we have to witness, other than Jamie Wright, but he's actually half decent. A new pole time note for Ben Harrett. We'll move over to Barry Baldwin, and we will look at this livery. Of course, running the Jordan colours. And that's important because, of course, the late Eddie Jordan, who died earlier today, famous for running the yellow and black when he owned the Jordan team back in Formula One in the early 2000s and the late 90s. So Barry is representing him this evening. Nice respect shown, as always, here in JACKOCAR. We still await Matt Lester, but where can Bazza go? He's had a great season. He'll go P3 for now. Mr. Sullivan Lewis should really be in contention for the chase. Of course, missing last week will not help that cause. He's allowed Pete and Mike Kelterborn to run away with it, but he is into the 14s. And speaking of Mike Kelterborn, here he is on his lap. Of course, I'm not going to do what Owen would do and say, this corner here, you've got to enter at 50 miles an hour, because I really don't know. I also don't know the corner numbers, but Mike is getting around it. As we see Matt Lester join the session, he'll shortly be joining the party. And let me tell you, it's one party that you want to be invited to. Great camera shot here as Mike goes through the S's. You've really got to hold on to the car and hope your car is set up just for it. We'll stay on board actually for the rest of Mike's lap. Of course, after him, just Pete Knighton to go. Just Pete Knighton to go from the bottom 10, that is. Mike goes third. Here is speed_Knighton through the S's. And other than Dustin, I'll hold for a second here. Other than Dustin, they are all keeping it valid this evening. 2 cars in front of Pete. This may be a distraction. I can assure you, Gareth Hall was giving him a tow there, as we are joined by royalty. It is Matt Lester. Good evening, Matthew. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, oh. I'm good. I'm ready to be here. Speed Knighton just posted the fastest time, 1:14.009. He's flying recently.
Yeah, by some margin as well. 6 tenths there. Nearly 7 tenths if you like to round things up. I know you do.
I like them round.
Oh, yes. That is a word on the street. Matthew, talk to us about your disappearing act from JACKOCAR. You were given a full-time seat and then you left us. And now you're back. Clearly, it's a drug. You must love it.
It is a drug. Unfortunately, work commitments gets in the way. But annoyingly, I'm changing job in the next 2 weeks. So it's come at the wrong time. A bit late, but I'm happy to be here on comms. I'm happy to see these losers go around this boring track this evening. And it's, I believe it's Gareth Hall next to set a time.
Sure is Gareth Hall. And of course, you speak of this lot being losers. You were one of them. So we replaced you with some half-decent talent in the form of Tony Kirkpatrick. But the promise of him winning every single race has not been delivered. So he is also a loser. But here's Gareth Hall to the line then. P3. We shall move on to Jori Hazelager. He's always at the bottom, you've got to remember that. What do we think of Jori? You can be honest, by the way.
he's on and I know. He's on and off, and he's some weeks he shows up, some weeks you don't even know he's here.
Yeah. And recently it has felt like that from Jori. You know, certainly start the season, he was very much here. Even won a race. But here's Tony Kirkpatrick then. He has a job to do this evening. No Corey Dalton here. Sort of opens the door for somebody like a Tony, a Johannes, maybe even a Jake O'Sullivan to get an easy win. As he goes pole, obviously. Why not? So, you know, obviously Corey's PlayStation RIP, a bit like Eddie Jordan. What can the big boys do? And speaking of big boys, here is one big boy who has not won, check this out, for 37 Cup Series races. He won his title with his 36th win in Vegas. He then got a win a few races after that in season 9, and he has been absent ever since. It's the man who is half Scouse and now half Portuguese. Ben Shaw, tonight's Joker. What do you think he can do?
It's the curse of the champion, isn't it? Always sliding all over the place. But this is his best shot tonight to get back on that top step with the Joker. He's got to take advantage of Corey not being here, and that's a very, very solid time, competitive with Tony there. So those two, only 2 in the 13s so far, but plenty more to come that could definitely join them, including the Belgian, Mr. Arnaud.
I endearingly called him earlier Arnaud D. Invalidate my qualifying lap grief. It seemed appropriate. Although he has got through the S section without invalidating. As I was saying just now, only Dustin, the only man to do that this evening. I think there was a race here many years ago where all but, I think, 7 or 8 drivers invalidated, which was quite impressive. That's back in the days when we could lure 20 drivers to start a race. Only 19 this evening. Arnaud goes third, which puts us into the Fast 5, which is a bit of a mess this week, because firstly you'll see this is Casper Klein and not Kieran Spears, and of course no Corey Dalton, who was meant to be replaced by Decker Cornley. And Deck's not here either because he agreed to racing and then decided he sold the game probably some years ago now. But for Casper, this could well be his last ever appearance in JACKOCAR. Something tells me it won't be. Because we've got some bloody good races coming up. Britain Short, the Super Speedway, Monza, and of course closing the show in Australia. But Casper goes 5th for now. I'll hand you over to Jamie Wright. And what can he do this evening, Matt Lester?
Yeah, one of the box boys. He's actually invalidated his laps. That's the second man. Not what you want to see, Jamie Wright.
No, we should actually move away from him because that's embarrassing. It is Jake O'Sullivan, who is just starting his lap, is he? Yes, he is.
It is a fellow box man himself. It's the cash man.
Yeah, all-time race wins holder. Also has the most championships of anybody. Does Jake O'Sullivan. Interesting line through turn 2. I did say, actually, Matthew, before you joined, I wasn't going to do what Owen does, which was talk about what gear you should be in and how fast you should be approaching a particular corner. But I'm going to go on board and do exactly that. Here is Jake O'Sullivan in 2nd gear, which he'll shift up now to 3rd. I'm going to give up with that. Owen is very good at waffling.
That was good insight.
Oh
dear.
Well, that's somewhat uncharacteristic, and we've got that on stream forever.
Yeah, Jake, you meant to turn right there, mate.
Oh.
Yeah. He's found the way to turn the steering wheel right. Not quite sure. Maybe a wheel failure?
Maybe. It's certainly not the optimal line, is it?
No, definitely not.
And
unless he knows something we don't.
Well. Oh, no. No. I mean, if this was Jamie Wright, I would have said, this is embarrassing, let's move away. Oh! Johannes is out.
He invalidated, and then he went straight into a wall.
So, that is an abrupt end to qualifying then. Jake O'Sullivan in the wall twice, and so is Johannes. So, Tony on pole.
The Fast Five didn't turn out to be a Fast Five.
No, they were the fulsome 5 in the end. And the best of the bunch was the Finnish man who put it in the wall in Las Vegas when he could have won a championship. So never mind. Casper, by the way, did actually want me to talk sweet nothings about his livery. However, we sort of glossed over him very quickly. So we shall...
it was like red and white.
Yes, very Toyota-like.
Yeah. Meh. Sorry, Casper.
Anyway, Jake O'Sullivan did complete his lap in the end, a staggering 1 minute 53.4.
Not far off.
No, the potential is there. And that is what we like about Jake O'Sullivan. He always turns up. 3 championships and 22 wins, my arse. Anyway, here is the top 10. So obviously, Tony Kirkpatrick on pole for the 4th time this season. And I do believe, if you bear with me, that's his 8th career pole. He's followed by Ben Shaw, the Joker this evening, inside a 10th. Then it's Arnaud, Pete Knighton, Casper in his final ever appearance. Ben Harrett, I believe that's his best qualifying ever this season. Garofal sporting the Mexican flag, maybe trying to favour the Mayans to a good result here because he could be eliminated this evening. Sullivan Lewis is 8th. Yuri Haslager with the Dutch flag is P9. And then Mike Kelterborn 10th. And as I am lead commentator, Matt Lester, you know how the rest goes. They're too slow to make the top 10, so we do not care about this lot.
No, we've done this too many times to not forget about that.
Yep. I can now delete my qualifying order picture. I can go to my notes page and I can put Tony down as pole position. So another playoff point for him. And dark skies over Mexico City.
Ooh.
Does a storm be brewing by any chance?
Oh, um, hmm.
Oh,
Seems to be a surprise car on the grid here.
go on,
Um, I'm
because
on
I
the
can't see
grid.
anything. Oh, you're on the grid.
I'm on the grid. I'm going to have to retire.
Well, what a
It's too,
development we have here.
it's 20 drivers.
I mean, do you want to do the first lap and just see how messy it is? I assume you're 20th.
I could do a rear view, couldn't I?
You
Just
could,
keep
and
an
we
eye.
love a rear view here at JACKOCAR.
We love a rear.
So what strategy are you going to go for, Matthew Lester?
Slow at the start and just take it easy.
Okay, and then presumably pit lap 1 and DNF.
And let the others lose because they're losers.
I mean, that
That's the
works for
plan.
me. That's a hopefully well executed plan. As we await the final few seconds whilst drivers complete their strategies. And here they all are on the grid. I have no sound. That's really good. Oh, it's coming. And there we are.
I thought we were going to get some ASMR commentary then.
No. That's not in my remit.
Do you see me now?
There you are, Matthew Lester. We are currently riding you. Must remain professional at all times, I will remind you. This is a serious show, I think.
Anyway, don't mind a bit of riding.
Oh no. Let's get rid of... Actually, what do people want? They normally like the tyres. That can stay as that. We don't need that, and we don't need that. So let's get rid of that.
Here at JACKOCAR, we've gone above and beyond. So Ted would normally be in the pit lane. We've actually got me on the track. That's what we're doing. We're changing the game here at JACKOCAR.
It sure is. That's what we love to see. Anyway, we will do some slight, serious, noteworthy things. Tony Kirkpatrick is on pole as Gareth Hall takes the lead, hopefully not for the last time this evening. 36 laps of this absolute hellhole. If he leads on lap 36, he will be advancing to the round of 8. It's Ben Shaw, though, I would say, is the man you need to watch on his Joker. And like I said, 37 races without victory, but teammates all around him. Of course, Arnaud, Pete Knighton, they are not slow. Casper, he's also not slow, but he's not a fan of this game. There's his livery, by the way, the red and white Toyota, as Pete and Ben Harrett come to blows. Gareth already on the grid. Sullivan Lewis. What do we say about Sullivan Lewis? He often likes to go long in these races and be annoying, but then there's Bazza, who will definitely be annoying. Your stage points tonight come at the end of lap 10 and 22. There is one joker. It's Ben Shaw. Corey and Kieran are not here. Casper is. Matt Lester is. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to crack open a cold one. It's prime time on JACKOCAR. Let's go racing here in Mexico then, as the cars slowly get off the line. Matt Lester's going to give us a rear view, but we have to watch Arnaud, who's straight through the middle of Tony and Ben Shaw. What a power move that was to the lead. And Ben's been tagged from behind. Not sure who that was, possibly Ben Harrett, as they file into turn 1 then. And Pete Knighton squeeze, but will get through just about as he forces Gareth out wide there, who's also made a very good start. Sullivan Lewis up to P4. Fantastic from him. What's happening at the back, Matt Lester, as they all seem to have calmed down? We'll go on board with you. Lots of leaves, I see.
Lots of leaves. Jamie Wright's dropped to the back. End plate damage for him, I believe. Not much else to report, though. Oh, who's that? Funky.
And more wing damage as well.
More wing damage here, yeah. There's going to be a few in the box, I think, soon.
Yep. In fact, let's go on board with Jamie Wright. You can see the absolute mess unfolding. Johannes down there in P17. Rageman getting pushed out by Florian Meyer, his fellow countryman. Dustin has nowhere to go. More wing damage. And Matt Lester into the back as well. Leroy's struggling down at the back. And there's going to be a VSC early doors. Thank goodness for that, because I need to catch my breath. And that wasn't you that went into the back of Leroy. It was Jamie Wright. I forgot I was on board with
No, I kept my distance. I did nearly have a front wing slice my head off.
See, that would not have been good.
No, I've made it back to the pits, so I'm now going to retire and join you in the box.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your efforts there on lap 1. We'll see the end of Matt Lester's race unfold here as he drops to 80 kilometers an hour, and he will press the start button or the options button, scroll down to retire from race, and there you go. We have our first retirement.
I was told too much damage got in the wings of the car, into the brakes as well. Had to retire the car. It's a shame.
Some would say it was a PU failure.
I'm not going to ask.
Got to make it sound believable. But we are back to green here. Ben Shaw, all the timings are messed up, but I do believe he is third, which will work wonders for him if he can stay there. Jamie Wright is definitely not fourth, I can assure you of that. But Arnaud versus Tony up front. Sullivan Lewis there in P4. Isn't it nice not having the same runaway leaders? I know Tony's up there, but he's not leading the way as yet. Just the 4 laps led last week, as Arnaud will come round to lead his second this week. And again, Tony second, Ben Shaw third as they start to break away. Jamie Wright, with his issues, is all the way down at the back with Leroy. Nowhere to go for him right now. He's just got to stay with it and stay in it and hope to not be eliminated at the end of the night. Tony, by the way, did not pass Arnaud on that straight. He's actually keeping it somewhat interesting.
Yep, no passes on that straight. Just keeping an eye all the way down the field. Fozzie and Okeko are pretty close, but no chance there, unfortunately. Sorry, Fozzie and Funky. But yeah, it's all worked out okay so far. Ben Shaw's had the start he's needed, keeping it tidy. That's all you got to do on the Joker. Keep it clean. And yeah, these 3 at the front starting to build a little bit of a gap.
Yep.
To Sullivan Lewis.
One thing that should be noted as well, despite his 1 minute 53 in qualifying, Jake O'Sullivan is actually up to P6. Also, easy pass here. Florian lets Dustin go by. But straight to Jake O'Sullivan then. As Pete Knighton pits. So Jake up to P5 on a recovery drive. Let's actually have a look at how many positions gained. I don't know how to do that. Here it is. Up 10 for little Jakey Poo. And again, no pass from Tony that time by. And Ben Shaw, the issue that Ben Shaw's been having is that he's very fast. Like, he runs up at the front, top 4, top 5 most weeks, but he has these fade away moments where he just either something goes wrong or he runs out of talent, and it's really hampered his season, as you can tell by the fact he's only just hit over 100 points last week. Yellow flags are out and they are quickly recalled, but maybe this is the week for Ben Shaw as Tony starts to close the gap to Arnaud de Grief in front of him. Half a second now up the front.
Yeah, it will already be looking promising for Mr. Shaw with Tony bringing that gap down. And now I think we need to keep our eyes on this because it's half a second. Will Tony make a move down into turn 1 after this long straight? Going to go on board with him. Not sure if you are. I am. He seems
way ahead
to
of you.
be coasting. And he doesn't look interested in making a move, and he'll just continue to tuck in behind de Grief.
I do wonder, Matthew, if Tony has been reading my desperate messages in the past couple of weeks where, like, we need a new winner because this is becoming an absolute bore fest. And being a speed teammate of Ben Shaw? Is he just trying to keep Ben and even Sullivan down there in fourth in the race? You know, Tony clearly faster than Arnold, doesn't need to make the move. Does it just give potential to get those speed boys in the race, but it also put enough pressure on Arnold that he forces him into a penalty, and then it brings him in that way?
Yeah, that's what I was going to go on to. I think the pressure part is the most important, and penalties will be a factor here. You've already got lap 5 and 5 drivers on penalties, so it will be a factor. I think that's the play he's going for. Just Ben Shaw and Sullivan Lewis need to stick with, but Sullivan Lewis does actually box, so he's changing those tyres. No need to even check on Tony because we know he's going to sit there. But yeah, I think the plan is just to sit where you are and keep the pressure on at the moment. As there are yellows towards the back of the field, that is Rage Man. End plate damage for the German.
So it looked like he recovered. One thing to note on Arnold and pressure is nobody has led more laps in the Cup Series than that man there. 736 plus 5 is what he has. So if there's anybody who knows how to lead a race, it is Arnold. We are just watching the Johannes and Gareth battle. It was an easy pass on the straight for Johannes, but Gareth has stuck with him at least through this lap, and he will get DRS this time by as he starts to wander wide through the S's, and there you go. The gap opens up to over a second. Let's go back to the front because I sense Tony is starting to get a little bit bored. Of course, as much as he's trying to help the guys behind him, he can't really control the race. Whilst in P2, he can't slow Arnold down as Rageman comes out the pits lapped. But here we go. Tony is a lot closer this time, Matthew. Down into turn 1 he goes, and that's an easy pass for the lead there. So I do wonder now if what we were saying is correct, and he'll try and slow Arnold down and back him up into Ben Shaw, who now has Johannes catching him, although albeit 7 seconds away. Gareth runs P5. Barry Baldwin runs P6, going well and going long on those mediums in that Jordan car.
Yeah, I think Tony now will try, as you said, to back up Arnold.
Casper's out.
Where's he gone? Oh, he's retired in the pits.
Interesting.
Okay.
This, of course, was meant to be his last ever race in JACKOCAR, and that is certainly not the circumstances he would have wanted to end it under. So like I say, I do wonder if he'll be back. So these yellow flags really are for nothing, and they are now gone. What is the closest battle on track? It appears to be Pete Knighton and Jaco Sullivan, with Yori behind him in P12. Oh, and Pete, you can't be cutting corners like that. In fact, Yori's going to sniff him here in a manly way. You like that one, didn't you? Pete Knighton slipping and sliding all over the place like he's at a 4-year-old's birthday party. Look at him through the bloody baseball section. It's unbelievable. Yori starting to turn the screw as we see Pete Knighton pit for the second time in this stage. And the gap up front is 9/10. Yeah, I do believe he had an end plate gone, sorry.
Yeah, I'll stick with him. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's another wing change. Not great for Mr. Pete Knighton, who actually in the chat came with a bit of aggression, so maybe too much aggression on the track as well.
Oh, please do recall this, because I didn't see any aggression. I was too busy doing things. What did you see?
Oh no, just whining, complaining, just the usual.
Okay, I got a lot of time for that.
And
we have a VSC. Please upgrade. Please upgrade. Because...
Where's he gone?
Oh, I'm on board Jacob's... Oh, there he is, middle of the track. Now, how is that not a safety car? This is
Safety wasn't a
unbelievable,
thing
Jack.
back in 2020.
I guess we are in Mexico as well, of course. Well known for being... best be careful what I say, hadn't I, actually? There's not a lot of health and safety in Mexico, as you can see.
So
And Sullivan makes another
green.
pit stop. I'm very sorry there.
No, it's okay. Sullivan in again. Is that wing damage? Oh, he's got a puncture.
That'll be why.
That'll be why.
Eyes on the ball, Matthew Lester.
And Ben Harritt is suffering because of it. He's stuck behind him in the pit lane. That's going to cost Ben Harritt some time.
And away he goes. Ben Harritt. Is he going to be racing OKK out the pits? No, that's Mike. So yeah, that crash has really sort of dissolved any battles we had. I mean, the closest is the one at the front, and of course Tony has now pitted. Hold on, quick VAR check. Who led that lap? It was Arnaud.
Yeah, I think we did miss the changing at the front, but yeah, Arnaud did get back into the lead, and he's got a 7-second gap now, and himself, Johannes and Barry Baldwin are the 3 drivers yet to pit.
Yep, sure are. Ben Shaw out on his hards as well. Away he goes. Of course, at the end of this lap is the first stage. A single playoff point will be accrued by the leading driver at the time. And Arnaud de Gree very much on his way. He is also the record holder for most stages won in JACKOCAR. Not just the Cup Series, that is Kia Series, and also Cup and Kia as a combined record. 42, soon to become 43. Even if he pits, I believe he has Johannes covered. I think, I could be wrong. Baza picks a penalty up after a little battle with Tony. Let's stay with Arnaud. He does pit. So we'll follow Johannes, but I believe Arnaud wins the stage. Number 43 then. And Johannes pits anyway. So let's go on board with Tony and see where they come out. Of course, he was only 9/10 clear of Arnaud at the time when he pitted last time by. Where do they come out? Of course, I do believe this is a track which favours the undercut. I could be talking absolute waffle for all I know.
Yeah, it's a 2-second gap to Arnaud now, so he's given himself a bit of space and made the jump in positions. I think you are right with your knowledge there, Mr.
Thank
Jackson Ricketts.
Well, thank you, Matthewson Lester. There's plenty of things I could have called you.
I've just been using my government name, my full government name the whole time.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? What's your middle name out of sheer interest? Or is it not allowed for the ears of the Hammers?
It's
So
Matthew Hammers.
Is that a Mr. or Mrs.?
Miss.
Of course it is. He wears dresses on a Friday night. It's Matthew
Don't
Lester.
tell anyone though.
I'm waiting for late April and early May to see if you're all mouth.
I bet you are.
What's going on? OKK down in P12. We're, unlike Owen, we're actually going to follow where the closest gaps are. He talks a load of shit most weeks. So it's probably quite entertaining to have a fresh voices.
That's why his voice has gone.
Yes.
Silly man.
It does make me wonder where he's lost it though, because other than commentating for JACKOCAR, like, what else does he do? It's not like he talks to girls, is it? So I'm just wondering where...
No, he doesn't know what they are.
No. So yeah.
Yeah, OKK definitely has a shot here of taking Mike with the soft versus the hards. It's whether he can be within half a second really, which is just outside, 6/10, 7/10. Mike pushing over the line. I don't think he's going to be able to get close enough. He's not even pushing OKK, so he's going to sit where he is in 12th and keep going, but he's got to be careful. Sullivan Lewis behind him. So a good little trio here.
And to interrupt that little trio, I'm very sorry, we are going to have to go to the battle for P3, as it is Barry Baldwin, the icon Barry Baldwin, versus the Season 8 champion, Mr. Benjamin Shaw. And nobody quite knows what his middle name is, so we'll call him Carlos. And here he goes then, for a place on the podium on his Joker. He is technically net race leader, Ben Shaw, and he's about to put himself up to P3. Nice and easy. No fight from Bazza. He knows his race, but what does he do with Johannes behind in P5? But Bazza going well on this first early long stint. Never mind, he's picked a penalty up. That was silly. And Johannes is going to capitalise here with the awful exit out of turn 3. Down the inside goes the German, 1 of 5 on display this evening. And he is now up into P4 and threatening that podium position of Ben Shaw in front of him. It's all kicking off here on lap 13. It's jolly exciting.
Yeah, it's a shame for Bazza actually, because he's quietly been just going about his race, and he might have picked up another couple of warnings there. The pressure maybe just getting to him of the two faster drivers on the newer tyres, but if he keeps his head down, should be able to get a positive result still.
And that's what he's been doing all season long. P10s, P11s, P12s. Not big points, but points enough that they are valid and put him in P2 in the chase as it stands. So in a direct fight with Pete Knighton to go to the Championship 5 of all places. But here goes Johannes. He picks the outside over Ben Shaw. And that is another easy move. But of course, Ben Shaw, he knows his fight. He also knows he's very much in contention for a good result here. Hopefully the race win, because we could do with a new race winner. Up the front, it appears to be all plain sailing for Tony Kirkpatrick. You were going to say something.
The two speed boys, Gareth Hall and Yuri, exchanging places. Further down, MK has now got Risky behind him as OKK's softs start wearing off. Risky is pushing, not got a lot in his locker though, used a lot of that battery. He's coming though. Is he going to go outside? Mike's going to let him know where he's going to go. Round the outside into turn 1, very, very deep. Mike's going to try and hold him off, and he does. Casually cutting corner 3 there, I think, turn 3. But Mike holds on. That was a good little battle there.
I don't think Sullivan appreciated it with the weaving from side to side shortly after.
We did, though.
Oh, yes, we did. We need the excitement as well, because I don't know if you've been following this season since your departure, but it's been awfully lacking. So we'd like somebody to have a severe career-ending crash, or at least, lag spike. A bit of excitement is what's required here, Matthew Lester.
Yeah.
Matthew James Lester, I do apologise.
Yeah, that's okay. Shouldn't have known, Jackson.
No. What else is going on? Gareth Hall. Oh, VSC, go on. Upgrade.
Upgrade. I'd like to confirm an upgrade, please.
And we appear to not be getting one. There's frustratingly, there's a yellow car in the pit lane on the maps.
Oh.
Is that?
Yeah.
Is that a safety car, or is that just OKK?
Yeah. No one else is in.
It's OKK.
No, it's not.
It is. Look, I'm watching him. That is not a safety car. That is Michael OKK.
OKK, he's teased me there. I got slightly aroused. Just for a second.
Only for a second.
Well, actually, now I'm thinking that it's OKK and I'm aroused again.
What heartbreak for myself and Matthew Lester up here in the commentary box, as OKK has duped us with his yellow colours. He actually, the car is looking very cool runnings this evening. I do appreciate that.
I was thinking that as well. Yeah.
Jamaica, we got a bobsled team. Of course, that is the last of my Jamaican accent that you will hear this evening as he tries to chase down Leroy Hasselager in 14th place. Why are you laughing?
I know, it was just so accurate.
Oh! Leroy's joining Pete at the slip and slide birthday party. Look at him, he's all over the place.
Slip and sliding down the bobsleigh. Watch out, Leroy.
Get
Jamaica's
that man
coming.
Get that
You're
man a new set of tyres.
Crazy. Here he comes.
That was vile. Mike Kelterborn is out of the race.
Come on, give us one.
Oh, goodness sake. Let me just update the laps led, because I've been sick of it for weeks, but here we are, we're still carrying on with season 11.
How's he done it there as well? Inside of the exit of turn 3. He's gone now. But that is the third of 5 Germans.
You know what? You've just taken the words straight out of my mouth. But you are correct in what you say, so I have no issue with that. I mean, it must be correct. Oh, well, I was just going to have a sip of Pepsi, so something was going in it just then. Gulp.
Gareth Hall, P6. He's the closest to anyone on track, apart from Sullivan Lewis with Funky. But it was back to the VSC. Didn't we go green there? Or were we VSC the whole time?
That was VSC the whole time.
Oh, okay. Well, Sullivan Lewis has taken advantage of the restart. He's jumped Funky, and Ben Harriott going to do the same thing.
Good on him.
Funky goes deep, so he's going to make the move, and he joins Sullivan Lewis, P9, P10.
Yeah, if I tell you what, Florian's having such a hard day, he may as well join all his German counterparts in the catering section of Mexico City's Autodromo Carlos Rodriguez Jimenez circuit, because the way he's driving, he may as well not bother. It's looking atrocious on those hard tyres. And
I'm sure there's a little Bratwurst hut he can jump in.
You know what? That sounds like a good idea if I've ever heard one. Might join him.
He's really struggling, isn't he? He's not hitting. I don't think he knows what an apex is tonight.
Well, no, let's go on board. He's missed that one. He's hit that one, but he kind of has to. And then he's going to get that one. And get this one. Couldn't really miss it, could he?
No.
But yeah, no, his driving improved when we went on board with him, but it's still shocking overall. 4 out of 10 for that man there. Let's go up the road. Yuri Hasselager versus Gareth is back on. By the way, we are halfway through this race, lap 18. It has flown by. Anyway, but there's actually a 3-car battle, I must say. Jake O'Sullivan eyeing up the back of you. Oh, this could be good. Go on, Tasty, fight. Oh, he spun him around. Get that man disqualified. That was shocking. Poor driving from the 3-time champion Jake O'Sullivan. What was he thinking? And Gareth Hall will be fuming seeing his rear gunner taken out of the race like that. That has got to be the harshest penalty I can think of coming Jake's way, surely. Absolutely disgusting. Trying to make it too wide in that corner. Look, Gareth squeeze him. Go on, put him in the wall, Gareth. He doesn't deserve to be there. As they battle down the main straight here, Gareth tucks in behind you. Know he's going to launch it into turn 1, don't you? Strap in, folks. Here goes Gareth. He didn't have the bravery after all of that. It makes me sick sometimes.
Just wanted a sniff.
It's like
further back, J. Luke with Florian, who's falling further down the grid. J. Luke continues to try and make his way up the field from that damage he picked up on lap 1. So into the top 10 now. So light at the end of the tunnel for Jamie Wright.
Fair play. The penalties really are falling quite heavily this evening for the guys outside of the top 6. The exception there being Johannes as well in the top 6. But of course, the Germans are not having a good day. It's like 1945 all over again. Anyway, back to the front. Tony, don't laugh. Trying to remain professional as Jake O'Sullivan sets the fastest lap.
You could have said it's like 2021 all over again.
What happened in 2021? Oh, the Euros.
The Euros.
Yes, but that wouldn't have got a laugh out of you, would it? You awful human being.
I'm just being professional here. I'm just, it's a game of football.
And I expect nothing less from either of us. Oh, dear.
You're really making the most of Owen not being here
I
tonight.
am. I wouldn't have this much trouble, Owen.
Ben Harrett, the latest to pick up a penalty. Back to the serious stuff, of course.
Yeah, well done, Ben Harrett.
There's a massive gap. Jake in 5th to the top 4. 26 seconds.
Yes, and if you were to describe this gap on a scale of elephant to sperm whale, how big is it? Your silence is deafening.
Yeah, it's that huge. I don't know where to start.
Okay.
It's Kia-esque.
It's good for you. I'll give you that. It is indeed Kia-esque. As Ben Shaw gets his first penalty of the evening, all by himself there in P4. So just the front two, and then 5th and 6th without penalties. As it stands, I do believe Gareth Hall is on his way to being eliminated. Maybe if we were to be a little bit serious, Matthew Lester, we could get the points situation up on my computing device here. So Gareth Hall currently is minus 17 points from the cut line, which means it would require either a win or for him to score this lap's playoff point, which I don't think he's going to get because Tony is on his way to getting that. So yeah, basically, because Tony's going to take this point away from Gareth, Gareth needs to win the race in order to advance. It is as simple as that.
He needs a safety car.
He needs a race win is what he needs. And also that the man down there in the bottom two is Ben Shaw along with Gareth Hall. Ben Shaw is currently minus 1. He's minus 1 to Yuri Hazelager, who is down in P12. So at the moment it's Gareth and Yuri that are being eliminated. Ben Shaw and Arnaud would advance along with Jamie Wright, Tony, Kieran, who's not here, Johannes, Jake and Corey, who's also not here. And there it is, this stage point for Tony Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, I don't think Yuri will be too pleased if he does end up being eliminated, as Jake O'Sullivan wiped him out. Was it Jake? Or did I get that wrong?
Jake wiped Yuri out, yeah.
Yes. So I don't think he's going to be best pleased come the end of this race in the checkered flag. But Ben Shaw looking in a good place. Do we believe Ben Shaw is taking these hards to the end?
Well, yes, he's on his Joker. Of course he is.
It's a long old stint on the hard
Sure
tyres.
is.
He's only about halfway in on that stint.
Gapsa leader puts Ben Shaw 12 seconds away from the front of the race. So you know what? As it stands, he is still net race leader, even with that penalty. And one would like to think Tony would play ball here and stop the onslaught that will come from Arnaud and Johannes behind. Ben Shaw is clever enough. He knows where he will be. He knows how this league works. and the race win, although it may not be straightforward, it's not impossible as the leaders pit. Johannes takes the lead of the race. So now it's going to get slightly exciting. And by the way, Matthew Lester, I do believe this is your doing. This is our highest viewer retention all season long.
Wow. I really do bring all the girls to the yard.
That is true.
It's probably only Jess in the chat, but that's fine. Hello,
Actually,
males.
Funnily enough, Jess for once is not actually in the chat, but Waze is there, and so was Corey earlier on this evening. And sometimes, I think Jamie's girlfriend, so there is a female watching, Jamie's girlfriend does watch some of these races as well. She's still waiting to see him win in JACKOCAR. Of course, all his success come before he got into a relationship, which says all you need to know. Women are a distraction. Tony Kirkpatrick come out an extra second ahead of Arnaud. Gareth Hall, P5, he's way down the order in this one.
I've got worries here for Mr. Ben Short in terms of the race win, because Tony's only 8 seconds off, and you have to bring in the penalty that Ben Shaw picked up. So it's net actually four seconds away. Tony is.
Is he? Well, that sure is a great shame. Quick VAR check as well. Ben Shaw led the end of lap 24. It was very tight with Johannes, but it was awarded to Mr. Shaw. And yes, there is Tony. At what point does he play the game, or does he go and take the glory? What would be his third win in the JACKOCAR Cup Series? Of course, a third win would put him level with such huge names as I'm about to list to you. Peter Knighton, Thomas Stulens, Connor Byers, Matthew Redmore, Daniel Price, although his 3 come in the Kia Series. Michael Okeke has 3, 2 in the Cup, 1 in Kia. And Matt Lester, just because you're here, only 2 race wins, is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow, it feels like it should be more.
It should, but never really took advantage of the games or the times that I was fast, unfortunately. I obviously had that one that we don't speak about anymore, which totally blew my lid.
Which one was that? Remind me.
Don't do this.
No, I've genuinely forgotten. And as soon as you say it, it'll click, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and then you'll think I said that just to get a rise out of you.
Brazil.
Oh, that wasn't a race win. Come on, that was for like 8th place.
I know. I'm still annoyed about it, alright?
Advancing. I advanced on 0 points because of a penalty and some good help from my mate Yuri Hazalaga, who had nothing to do with my championship that day, but it was a direct fight with Bazza and Jess. I remember it very well.
You broke many hearts that day.
I'm quite good at that anyway. Real life and on PlayStation.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Ben Shaw has traffic. Not a lot he can do about it because they are fighting for position. Okeke loses out to Jamie Wright. Will Okeke make Ben's life easy? He's a very good man, but not that good as he holds him up through